Today we're going to make ravioli. And if you saw my last video, you already know how to make the pasta. Hopefully you've been practicing that and having fun with your friends and family and blowing everybody's mind on the fresh pasta, because there's nothing like it. So today, for this ravioli, I've put together 4 cups of semolina, a large container of ricotta with spinach and basil, a little garlic salt, a little bit of nutmeg, some chicken bouillon, which some people, feel funny about, but it's like a great flavor in there. And all these things are just till you like it. There's also an egg in there too, to bind it all together. So what I'm gonna do first is you're gonna watch me make some pasta, but it's gonna be fast, so you don't have to listen to the machine. And then when I get the sheets laid out, I'll do a little bit more of an explanation. And I'll have you see how it's coming together every time I do this? This might be edited out, it might be fast speed. But it's, a little crumbly on the edges. Every time I put it through, it gets better and better. This is all on the whitest setting. I had to add a little moisture to this dough. It was a little too dry, I wanted to crack. I only added a little bit, I just brushed it over and folded it in. That seemed to work. It doesn't take much water to make it a lot more moist. Okay, I just went up one more size, down one more size. I'm going down another size. Some people want this really thin. It's too hard to work with when it's really thin, and when you buy ravioli in the store, the dough's not really thin. So this is, I'm gonna go one more. Okay, there's one. I'm gonna do another one. We're gonna make one big sheet. This is for the initial pass. Makes it easier to go through the machine. The true KitchenAid attachment for this is a little wider than this 3-piece attachment. But that's okay. There we go. Okay. Just a couple of sizes. One more size. Good enough. And here's why we don't make it super thin. I'll show you. We don't need that. I'm going to put just a little flour on the board. Put this one here. This one, we're going to overlap these and stick these together. This is just water. You can use egg if you want. A little bit of water seems to work just fine. I'm gonna overlap these, half an inch. Now, press down with my fingers like this, make sure it's getting glued. Hit it lightly with this roller right now, just lightly. Make sure I got enough flour in there so that when I do this harder, like I'm gonna do it right now. So now, I'm going back and forth. Watch the width on this. It's getting wider because, well, I'm squishing it. And in the old days, I'd just do this with the dough and roll it out. It was a lot of work, a lot more work than this. I'm rolling this out to about here. I'm trying to keep it square. This is for the next batch. I'm squaring it off. We won't have any waste. This looks about right. Here's a ravioli pin. If you get one of these, get the biggest ones you can find. Now I'm going to roughly see how we look on the size. Okay, for how many I want to make. We're going to leave the edges clean and part of the top where we're not going to put the filling. So I'm looking here to here. That's not bad. This can be played with and stretched even more, and I'll show you how to do that. A little wider. You can be too thin. In theory, it's like, oh, I want my ravioli really with thin and just, you know, all filling. Well, okay, you can want that. It doesn't always happen. Now, we feel pretty good. I'm gonna mark halfway with this dough. There's my mark right there. You only want this, it's got to be less than a 1/4 inch thick. If you make it too thick, it's trouble. This should actually be in the refrigerator to make it a little stiffer, but this will probably work. When it's a little stiffer, it's okay. If your filling is too loose, too runny, you can always throw some breadcrumbs in it. You know, it'll soak it up and, you know, make it a little stiffer. Or you can make it really, really cold. All right. Now I'm getting close. That's all I want to do. This is nice and flat and slippery. Let's see. My center line. Where was that? About there. Okay. I'm going back to the center line. And I'm going to try to make this nice and flat. You can do this with 3 sheets. This one's probably, yeah, it's close to big enough. I could have done another one. Get rid of some of that. We don't want too much. You're better off with too little than too much, because you can break them and pop them, and you don't want to do that. It's just, you know, work. Okay, so I've left, I don't know, 1.25 inches there. Less than 1 inch on the sides. This is the top, this is the bottom. And what I'm gonna do, and I've read, oh, do this with egg wash too. So we're gonna fold this over, and then when we hit it with this pin, it's gonna push this stuff out of the way, the pasta's gonna stick to itself, and then we're gonna cut it. In order for the pasta to slip away from this and seal itself a little bit more, this could be not necessary. I've done it before and not done it. I'm just wetting this part of the dough a little bit, just to make it a little slipperier for the next part. This comes up. We're over. Now, I'm chasing the air bubbles out of here. The edges are lined up. That edge is lined up. I can now handle this and drag it around. So here it is in front of me. It's easier to work away. Now I'm going to look to see what I got. Pretty close. This roller is lined up real close with there. That roller's lined up real close with there. If I wanted to, I could play with this and stretch it out and get another one out of it, but we'll do this. So, the bottom up against it. See where you're going. Line it up. Apply pressure. I use this. And now, we're starting to roll back and forth. Nice and easy. Good firm pressure, not super hard, but pressure. And every time I get to one of these on the opposite side, one of these cross pieces, I make sure it's making contact. It looks like we're rolling up the thing pretty good, pretty well. You're going to see why I have too much filling in here. Watch what happens at the end. Look at that. I could have had more dough. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and seal that just like this and see if I could cheat and get a few more ravioli out of here. There we go. I didn't get too bad on that. All right. And for those that don't want to, you know, have waste, there's for the next batch. It came out a little wide on the edges. I was too thick. That's what happens. Now we're going to cut. You want it? This is a pastry crimper cutter. This is just a cutter. This is all I ever used to use. I bought one of these. See the little blade in the middle? That's gonna cut. I found a plastic one of these on Amazon where that blade's a little higher. I can't wait to try it. I don't have it with me yet. It'll be here someday. A little flour because this wants to climb. Okay, I'm gonna cut. You ready? Okay, are you gonna keep that pinch just like last time? Okay, let's do it again. We're going to do that a whole bunch of times. And here we go, the last cut. Okay. Oh, look at that. Messed that one up pretty good. That's all right. We've got these cut. I swear, the other one, this just makes them separate a whole lot better. I don't know why. It cuts better. Maybe the new one will be good. Once these, we're going to freeze these. It makes a huge difference freezing them because, well, then they'll crack apart when you go to put them in the water. This is my granddaughter, Hayden, and she's been a big helper. Every time I'm here in the kitchen, she wants to lend a hand, and she also wants to learn about this stuff. And I had people in my family teach me. Some. There was no YouTube back then, so these are going in the freezer, and that's the first batch that we made. I'm going to do this until the rest of the stuff is gone. Good luck. Buon appetito. Ciao.